All right, this is the video for the warm-up for your second solutions quiz. Before we start answering the question, let's talk about some key things before we start. Remember that if you are given two numbers in the problem, you know you are going to be using this equation. It's the molarity equation. Moles over liters. And don't forget, you must be in liters. Okay? Now, if you're given three numbers in the problem, then you know you are going to be using the dilution equation. M1V1 equals M2 times V2. All right, so now we're going to look at the first question. It says, how many moles, so we're looking for moles, would be needed to make 150 milliliters of a 5.62 molar magnesium chloride solution? Okay, we have two numbers. Okay, so that means I'm going to be using the left equation. I have to be in liters, so I'm going to go ahead and take care of that first. So I'm going to do 150 mils divided by 1,000, which gets me 0.15 liters. Okay, now I can use my equation. So molarity equals moles over liters. Okay, and I have my molarity 5.62 equals moles over 0.15. Okay, you got to do the opposite on each side to move this number over. So you want to move this 0.15 over to the other side. Okay, if it's less confusing, you can always think of this as a fraction equal to a fraction. So you're going to cross multiply to find out moles, and hopefully you get 0.843 moles as your answer. All right, number 2 says calculate the molarity. So the molarity is capital M of a 62.6 grams magnesium chloride solution that is dissolved in 2.4 liters. Okay, once again, I have two numbers here. That means I'm going to use the equation on the left. Now, the equation on the left, which is molarity equals moles over liters, has moles, but I have grams. That means I need to convert. I need to change this to moles before I do my math. All right, so let's do that. I'm going to do 62.6 grams. Okay, to convert it out, I need to put grams on the bottom, 1 mole on top. So if you add up 1 magnesium and 2 chlorines, I believe it is 95.2. So you're going to divide to get 0.657 and etc. moles, okay? Don't round yet. You only round until the very end. So keep all those numbers on your calculator, and now you're going to do moles divided by your 2.4 liters. And you're going to get 0.27 molar as your answer. All right, next, okay, it says calculate how many liters of 6.1 molar magnesium chloride are needed to make 0.57 liters of a 0.41 molar magnesium chloride solution. So here we have 1, 2, 3 numbers, and because I have 3 numbers, I know I'm using my dilution equation that looks like this. I'm going to do the math on this next page here. Okay, so here you have this word of, right? So you know that these numbers are connected. So that's a volume, and then this is a molarity. And I can label this one as my second molarity. Remember, these numbers have to match because of the word of that links them together. It wants to know liters, so I'm looking for V2. Okay, so now I'm going to plug in my math. So M1V1 equals M2 times V2. So I'm going to do 0.41 times 0.57 equals 6.1 times V2. You want to move this number to the other side by doing the opposite. It's multiplying, so you're going to divide. So hopefully you get that V2 is 0.038 liters. All right, the next problem says how many milliliters of water are added to 25 mils of a 3.5 molar magnesium chloride solution to make a 0.42 molar solution. Okay, I have 1, 2, 3 numbers here. So my 3 numbers means I am going to use M1 times V1 equals M2 times V2. Now, a little note here, it talks about milliliters of water added. When you see this phrase, you know it's going to take 2 steps to get to the answer. You first need to find out your missing volume. So the volume is going to be missing. And then you need to do a subtraction to get to water. So it takes 2 steps. All right, so back to the problem. Here you have this of, so you know these numbers are going to be connected. So this is going to be my V1 and my M1, and I'm going to make this one my M2. So here I'm going to do 3.5 times 25 mils equals 0.42 times V2. All right, that's my first step here. So V2 is going to be equal to, you're going to move this number to the other side by doing the opposite, which is divide, and you get 208.33 mils. Now, this is the first part of the answer, right? The second part is it wants to know how much water was added. If this is how much you had at the end, then you're going to subtract by how much you started with. I started with 25 milliliters, okay? And if we do our subtraction, you are going to get 183.33 mils of water added. So that was your second step. This is your final answer. All right, if you have any questions, go ask your teacher.